This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 66 of the Dressage Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network. We would like to thank our sponsors, Equestrian Collections and Kentucky Performance Products. On the show this week, Colleen Walker tells us about DressageForJuniors.com, and Todd Flettrich shares his journey to the World Equestrian Games.
It's always been a dream, but I do believe that there are so many good riders and good people that work hard, and they don't get the opportunity to go to represent the team. I think it takes talent, it takes ambition, it takes money, and I think really it takes a lot of luck.
This is Chris Stafford in Lexington, Kentucky.
And I'm Mary Lauritsen in Harvard, Massachusetts, and you're listening to the Dressage Radio Show.
Oh, welcome back, Mary.
Thanks, Chris. It's great to be back after so long.
It seems like a long time. Just a few short weeks ago, we were all there in the Kentucky Horse Park for the Young Rider Championships. It was great to meet you in person.
Yeah, that was super.
And to do the show live together. How about that? That was a rare occasion.
Yeah, it was a different way to do the show, but it was so much fun.
Yeah, really, we had a blast there, I have to say. It was a great week with the young riders and trying to cover them from all angles, from dressage to jumping and eventing. And I know you were, while you were there, we joked about it, but you showed up to record the show in your cowboy boots. So I thought you were going to get converted to reining while you were at Young Riders.
Yeah, I think I was going to try my hand, but maybe I'll wait till next year.
There you go. Well, you had a lot of fun too, didn't you, all together? A great experience at Young Riders.
Wonderful experience. And I was just all smiles the entire time, just like you had said while we were recording. I look back on pictures and I was smiling away the whole time. I enjoyed every moment of it. And people, were warning me before going down there that it was such a stressful competition. And sure, the competition itself was intense and stressful. But I was so lighthearted about the whole thing, and just happy to be there, given it was my first and last time, and it was just an experience that I'll never forget.
And what will be the biggest memories you'll take back? Apart from all the drunken nights and the crazy careering around on a golf cart.
Right. Yeah, right. I was in bed by 8 every night. I swear to gosh, I was so exhausted. Such long days. I really think the camaraderie that was felt among all of the young riders was really the best feeling. It's something that you don't feel at your everyday horse show or qualifier leading up to young riders. Of course, like I said, there is that bit of high stress felt among everybody because it is such an intense competition. But it was so nice just bonding with other young riders and knowing that these are people that you're going to be sharing these sort of experiences with for years to come. It was really cool. I loved that part of it.
Did you make a lot of new friends?
Did I make a lot of new friends? I know so many young riders as it is, so it was more just, developing those relationships even further and seeing people that maybe I've only connected with online, and seeing them face to face was probably what I did the most of. But there were a few people that I met. I met a couple jumpers, which was really great because, once again, you don't get that experience when you're just going to dressage shows. So I was able to meet some young riders from different disciplines, which was really neat.
Well, I have to remind our audience that there's one little story. I don't know if I told it at the time, but you're the one that told me that you wanted to get out to see the cross country on the Saturday. So there we were. She says, I'll meet up with you and we'll go out into the cross country. And sure we did. We went into the infield there at the horse park, and Mary and her mother Joy were watching the cross country. And I think that's one of the joys of, as you said, Mary, of the young riders, is that you can spend time with the other disciplines that you wouldn't necessarily get to see if you're going to just a straight dressage competition. You wouldn't see anything else.
Yeah, that's right. And that was really cool, the three of us being out there and watching that, just being able to get so close to the jumps, and standing by that one water jump was pretty cool to see.
Didn't encourage you to have a go, though, did it?
No, not so much.
Well, we're going to share with our listeners one fun website that I know you're involved with, Dressage for Juniors, and hear from the founder of that website, Colleen Walker, in a few moments. But before we do, we have just a couple of items of news this week, Mary, and I have to say it's sad to report that we have just heard before we record this show that Cabana Boy, Chris Hickey's lovely 8-year-old horse, Cabana Boy, was so tragically euthanized today, and that is Monday as we record this show. Unfortunately, he suffered a catastrophic injury while he was in turnout at home. And very sadly, Jane McElry and the team there at Hilltop Farm had to have him humanely euthanized after that injury. And, it's always sad to lose such a great horse, but, it's one thing when they get older in years, Mary, but this was such a young horse and such a successful horse.
Right, and he was really at his prime right now. Chris returning from Germany and doing all of these competitions and doing so well. It's such a shame.
And he had such an amazing record, that horse.
Yes.
Absolutely from young riders. As a 5-year-old, winning the USEF Markel National Championship and the USDF Horse of the Year, and he was. Just went on and on. His accomplishment and accolades for such a young horse were just one after the other after the other. He was, such a lovely, lovely horse, and tragic that we've lost him. So
a real rising star, yes.
Yes, very much so, and very much a horse for the future for the team. So a great loss, and our condolences to Chris and Jane and everyone there at Hilltop at the loss of Cabana Boy. But on a brighter note, you came back from Saugerties, I believe, recently, and this past weekend you spent up there in upstate New York. But I believe it was a wet weekend, wasn't it, Mary? How did it go?
Well, the first half was actually really nice. We had great weather on Saturday. The show officially started on Thursday for those riding in the CDI. The jog was on Thursday. My mother, Joy Bonnick, was riding in the open classes, so we didn't really hang around that area. But we showed up on Friday, and the weather was great for those first couple of days. But yesterday was quite sloppy, and a lot of people decided to scratch on account of it. But my mom stood strong and was a trooper and rode her test despite of the rain. But it started out nice and then just got very wet.
Now, what did you see of the freestyle? I believe Jan Ebeling won that, and Pierre Saint-Jacques was second. Did you see any of those tests?
I did. I saw the tail end of one of the Canadian riders' tests, which was really great. I had seen Diane Creech, I believe it was, who had performed at Allentown. I'd seen her there. Really lovely pair. I saw them again this weekend, and I can't recall how they placed, but I did see both Jan Ebeling's and Pierre Saint-Jacques' ride, and they were both great. Jan Ebeling was the clear winner in that class, and he did a great job with Rofalka, and Pierre also had a very nice test.
Terrific. How many were there in that class? Was it?
I want to say there were 5 or 6. It wasn't a huge class. I think with Gladstone happening and the WEG coming up, we didn't attract as many riders as usual. But I think there's around 5 or 6 riders. Terrific.
Good. So, did you ride?
I didn't ride. I just went along as coach and mentor for my mom. But I just helped her out. I also, am the groom. I play all sorts of roles when I'm going to the horse show and not riding myself.
I was going to imagine that you would have been the groom as well.
Yep.
Chef de mission, as they say.
Exactly. But it's always fun. I love going to the shows, whether I'm competing or not. It's great to see familiar faces and to support my mother. And it was really a fun weekend.
And also experience, isn't it? Even when you're on your feet, you learn something by being at shows.
Yeah. Oh, you're always observing, and it's always fun.
Terrific. Well, we're going to take a short break here, and then when we come back, we're going to hear from Colleen Walker and about her website, Dressage Radio. Dressage Radio. See, I'm so used to saying that, Mary. DressageForJuniors.com.
Hi, everyone. Glenn the Geek here. Kentucky Performance Products has become a favorite of many listeners of the Horse Radio Network. They have a product that we want you to consider called Contribute. Take a listen to episode 14 of the Tack and Habit Radio Show, and you will hear a complete discussion on this product with Delia from Kentucky Performance Products. Contribute is the omega-3 fatty acid supplement that is so important to your horse's well-being. Contribute helps maintain soundness and longevity by protecting joints from damaging inflammation and sustains a strong immune response in horses of all ages. Learn all about omega-3 and 6 fatty acids and why they are so important by listening in at tackandhabit.com, episode 14, or go to kppusa.com for more information. That's kppusa.com.
Well, thanks to our friends at Kentucky Performance Products, and we're joined now by Colleen Walker, who started a website that you got involved with, Mary. I think a while ago you got involved. So we're going to hear from Colleen how that all came about. So let's get Colleen on the line. Well, we're joined now by Colleen Walker of DressageForJuniors.com. Colleen, welcome to the show.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
Thanks for coming on. And you know that if you're on the show with Mary Lauritsen and me, you know, anything could happen.
I'm prepared.
Now,
okay.
I know you two are good friends, so tell us how you two connected, because I know Mary's a major feature on your website. Tell us how that started.
Well, I was looking to profile a young rider, and I actually found her through Twitter, if you can believe it. And I
being a big tweeter, she's a prolific tweeter, aren't you, Mary?
It's a great tool. It seriously is. So much has come out of it.
I have to tell you, it really, what a great connection. And I immediately thought, oh my gosh, I want to get a hold of her and see if I can profile her. And I had actually profiled one junior rider. So I emailed her, and she got back with me, and that's how we started our relationship. And it's just been phenomenal because she's such a great ambassador for, you know, the youth of dressage, and that was exactly what I was looking for. And then as we began to talk more, I kind of came up with the idea that I would love to have a dressage blog on Dressage for Juniors, but I wanted it written by, you know, a young writer, because I felt that the site is for the kids. I felt that they would rather read about somebody that was closer in age to them and that they could mentor. And then it kind of, from then on, it just evolved in everything we've done.
Well, let's take you back a little bit more further than that, Colleen. How did you start this website in the first place?
Well, I was on the road with a junior rider. We were going to shows every month, and I just saw so many kids that needed help. Either they were working on their own, and they just didn't really know the etiquette. They really needed help with training, period. Some of them couldn't afford to take lessons very much. And this just wasn't at, you know, local shows. This was even at the state championship. So about 3 years of being on the road showing, I told a friend of mine, I need to develop a website that these younger riders can go to and not feel intimidated and get information all in one website that could help them, you know, answer the basic questions and getting started and learning how to, you know, take apart a snaffle bridle or a double bridle. And so that's kind of how I came up with the idea. It's kind of been a 5-year project, and just last year I spent about 6 months putting the website together.
And what's your background then? Have you been in dressage all your life, Colleen? Is it something you've just been devoted to and you wanted to promote?
I actually have loved horses since I was, 4. And I started riding dressage about 21 years ago. And I started, I say about 12 years ago, started teaching beginning dressage lessons. And it kind of evolved from there. And then I started, my students wanted to go to shows and wanted to compete. so I started going with them. We just got really involved, and I loved it. So, and then I rode to Intermediate 1, and I had 2 great Grand Prix schoolmasters that I was very fortunate to learn on, and they're the reason I'm here.
Now, not Chris, Colleen,
Yes.
I have a question for you. Now, do you have any children of your own?
Children?
Yes.
I have 2 boys. One's 27 and one's 22.
And are they so inclined to ride dressage at all?
No. No, they would go with me to a trainer when I was training out in Hemet many years ago. Of course, they were with me, and they would ride her pony that she had there. And actually, my one was very talented. He would just get on and ride, but they really, they'd go to the stables and they'd help me lunge and clean the horses, but they really didn't have a passion for horses. They're into dirt bikes.
And how many visitors do you have to your website? I know the other day you mentioned that things seem to be booming. How many do you have at this point per month?
Right. Yeah, it looks like about 200 visitors a week.
Wow.
So I'm pretty thrilled because it's steadily growing, and that's what I've been really working on, is trying to, of course, to get more visitors to the site. So I'm pretty pleased. I checked yesterday, and that's about the same number. And I'm going to be hitting about 10,000 visitors to the site pretty quick here. So I'm really excited.
Wow, congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you.
It has evolved so much from when you first started, I know, a year ago. When I first checked out your site, you just have so much information on there now.
Yeah, I'm trying to add new information about every couple weeks. Of course, I add a new profile of a rider of the month every month, which I just love. It's probably one of my favorite things to do. But I try to add new content because, of course, the people are going to come back and going to want to read about different things. So I try to do update about every couple weeks, I'd say. And I've actually got so many great ideas, so there's going to be some more changes coming up.
Oh, super.
Tell us a little bit about the format then on your website. You have blogs, you have videos, and now can viewers or visitors, I should say, Colleen, can they just submit content to you, or how does it go about? Who drives it? Do you drive the content?
Yes, I do. I do all the content except for the dressage blog, which Mary does. I would love to hear suggestions from the junior young riders, maybe something particular they'd like to read about, or even amateurs actually have contacted me saying how much they love the website and how much they learn from it. So I'm really open to suggestions, absolutely. But most of it is driven by me, just from my experience when I was teaching, and what I felt or what I feel that the younger riders need to know.
And you have merchandise up there too, don't you? Do you create your own merchandise for the site?
Yes, I sure do. I'm an artist. I've been an artist pretty much my whole life. I know you're an artist as well too, Chris. And I do both. I do oil painting and acrylics, and I do graphics for the T-shirts, and so that's kind of fun. That's kind of a fun part. I think everybody loves to have something on their shirt that has to do with dressage, so that's kind of how I came up with it. It's kind of pretty much what I like.
And your designs are absolutely lovely, Colleen. I actually have one of Colleen's shirts, and I love it. I wear it all the time. It's really beautiful. It's a really beautiful picture of a dressage rider, and I love it. I love wearing it.
I was really trying to go for comfort, as well as having a decent design.
Yeah.
Well, that's very important too if you're riding, especially in this heat. Well, I have to ask you one thing, Colleen, before we go, and that is about the video that a certain Mary Lauritsen is featured in. How did that come about?
I'm sorry, the
video. There's a video on your website I think everyone should view. Do you want to tell us about that, Colleen, or Mary?
I'll let Mary, because I'm not sure which one. I have quite a few.
I think there are a couple videos on there, but if it's pertaining to the Lady Gaga music video, is that the one you're talking about, Chris?
Yes, go ahead, Mary.
Oh, okay. This is slightly embarrassing, but I guess I can talk about it. My sister did that. She got all this footage of me in the barn and riding my horse through the orchard, and she put it to the Starstruck song by Lady Gaga. It's entertaining, and Colleen picked it up and put it on her site, which I was surprised to see. But I hope people enjoy it. It's definitely different.
Chris, isn't it? I don't know if you feel this way, but when I saw it, I'm like, I would love to do that. And I'm older, and it's funny because women, my friends that are my age, were like, gosh, that looks like fun. And that's why I put it up, because I thought if we liked it, gosh, I know that the younger kids would like it too. So it's pretty funny.
Absolutely. Well, I have to say I enjoyed it, and I watched it not knowing that it was Mary, and only found out afterwards. And I thought, oh, well, that adds up now. That makes sense.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Well, I encourage everyone to, absolutely, Colin, I encourage everyone to go over there to dressageforjuniors.com and check out Colleen Walker's website. It's a terrific website, great resource, as you say, for young and old dressage enthusiasts. And don't forget to watch that video featuring Mary Lauritsen as well. Well, tell us before you go, Colleen, what's in store for your website as you evolve with it? Do you have development plans over time?
I really do. I've got a few things that I want to do. I want to get more visualization into the website, because I think everybody learns from that. It sometimes is a little bit easier to understand what they're learning. So that's one of the biggest things that I'm going to be working on, and that's going to take quite a bit of effort. In fact, Mary and I have even talked about this a few months ago. So I'm going to pin her down. And yes, I do have more content that I'm going to get going, and I'm actually going to get out on the road as well. So we've got a really busy next year. Absolutely.
Well, good for you. And I would also remind the young visitors, too, if they can join your dressageforjuniors.com, become a fan of that on Facebook as well. I know you've got quite a few fans on there already, Colleen.
Yes. Thank you. I'm very excited. I'm just thrilled with everything. It's just going fabulous.
Well, the very best of luck with it, and we want to thank you again for joining us on the show this week. Well, our thanks to Colleen, and as I said, we're hopefully going to drive some traffic to that website now, Mary, just to watch your video.
Oh, great. I don't know if it needs any more attention than it already has.
I'm surprised you don't tweet about it or put it on your Facebook page. What is that, then? Is that the only place that it's actually posted?
Where? Well, it's on YouTube. I mean, you can find it directly on there, but I'm not going to tell you how to search it. Keeping that a secret. But yes, if you must see the video, you may go to dressagejuniors.com, and it's right there on the lower right side of the homepage.
Absolutely. Well, good for you, Mary. A video star.
Yeah.
You are. All right. Well, we're going to hear from our friends over at Equestrian Collections, and then when we come back, we're going to share with you a conversation I had with Todd Flettrich on his journey to the World Equestrian Games.
Equestrian Collections is a true innovator in the retail horse world, and they have done it again, this time with their new shipping program. It's called their Unlimited Shipping Program, and there are two options, and you can choose the one that's best for you. It's simple. Pay only $34.95 one time a year and get unlimited one-way shipping to you from Equestrian Collections. You heard right. Pay only $34.95 once a year for unlimited shipments. The second option is only $15 more. You pay only $49.95 for unlimited two-way shipping. That means even your returns will be covered. That's unlimited shipping both ways for as little as 15 cents a day. Think about it. Even if you ordered every day, you won't pay any more for those shipments. Now that's an innovative company at equestriancollections.com.
Well, I was able to catch up with Todd a few days ago. He was very busy after Gladstone and qualifying and making it onto the squad for the World Equestrian Games coming up here in just a few weeks' time. So it was a delight to be able to have a conversation with him. So I wanted to share that with you now. Well, Todd, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's my privilege.
Well, it's a delight to have you on in what is turning out to be a really exciting and pivotal time in your career. Big congratulations from all of us here on the Dressage Radio Show to making the squad for the World Equestrian Games.
Thank you very much.
Now, this I know we're recording this just a week after you finished second at the trials there in Gladstone with a 75.6 on Otto, and you finished second in the overall rankings. When you were going into the competition, Todd, was this where you expected to be?
I actually not. I was thinking I was going to be more the, say, fourth slot, fighting for the fourth slot. I thought that I would be in that area.
Well, now this is your first time on the Dressage Radio Show. Todd, let's talk a little bit about your background, how you got started in the sport, and where you're based.
I started in dressage in Louisiana. I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana, and started riding as my father moved across the lake Pontchartrain into the suburbs. I guess it would be the suburbs. And our neighbor was a dressage rider, Sue Malone Casey, and I started working for her on the weekends for money, actually. And she introduced me to the horses and taught me all about everything from cleaning stalls to the tack of a horse and parts of the horse, pretty much like Pony Club. And I was introduced from there to her riding instructor, Gwen Stockbrand, in California. And Gwen was qualified in 1980. We boycotted that Olympics, but she qualified for the dressage and 3-day eventing on both horses. And I went out and rode with her for a summer. So that was my soon after starting riding dressage, I did that. So pretty much fell in love with the sport and went from Glen Stockbrand. I spent some time in Illinois at Temple Farms, working for Temple. When George Williams was there, and Carl Mokoka had just come back to the area, and I worked for a man named Peter DeCosmo there. And from there, I went back to Louisiana, and I did have other short trips, educational trips to Europe and things like that. But then my next big adventure was I met Jessica Ranzhausen at the horse show competition in Lafayette, Louisiana. And one of my friends introduced me to her, and I came up to Pennsylvania. I was going to come for 6 months and stayed for 10 years. I'm just still living in the area. And she pretty much was a bit of a mother and a teacher and everything. She truly took care of me, and I worked for her, and she educated me. I got to meet most of the Olympic riders at that time, and I did ride with Robert Dover in clinics and things like that. Jessica would bring me over to ride with him sometimes. Rode with Belinda Nairn, which was also on the Olympic team. Belinda Nairn, which she was a local to me in this area in Pennsylvania. She lived in Lancaster at the time. And so I traveled around and not doing the working student position, but then finally I settled down with Jessica. And from there I left Jessica in 96, 97, and one of my clients built a farm for me in the area, and we called it the Dressage Center, and I ran that for 12 years. And meanwhile, I'd already met Margaret Dupre, which is the owner of Otto, and she owned Cherry Knoll Farms. I had also been working for her and for Iron Spring Farms, Mary Alice Malone, for many years, since I was 20. So I'm no longer at the Dressage Center. While I was in Europe competing, I was asked to leave because, needless to say, I was never there. So I fully worked for Margaret Dupre, and riding under her at her farm, and she sponsors me on Otto. So that's what I'm doing. That's a little bit of my basics. I hope that, and I should mention that I have been riding with Roberta Schmidt for 5 years maybe, on different horses, and it's been the first time I went, I spent 3 months there. The next time I spent 7 months there, and then I've been over there a couple of times for 3 months or something like that at a time. And over the past 20 years, I've always been friends and have worked with periodically with Odette Chimoni, which helps me when Hubertus is not around. He helps me with Otto and helps with my other horses and things like that too.
So did you come from a horsey background, Todd, and have you always been ambitious and wanting to get on the team? Has that always been, has it always been dressage for you? How did you get influenced? We heard about the people that have influenced you along the way, but when you were growing up, was this something that you told your parents you wanted to do? My parents were divorced, and we didn't come from a family that had any real income, so I had to work, obviously. My family is not into horses at all. In fact, as a young person, my stepmother had said over her dead body, was I going to have a horse? So that made me encourage me a great deal to have a horse, because she told me I couldn't. So that's how I got really motivated more into it. And Sue Malone Casey, which was our neighbor, she truly inspired me. She was very meticulous and really helped me get somewhere with it. She taught me. She eventually started teaching me to ride, but at the beginning she taught me everything else before that. As far as monkey stalls, horse handling, all that education there. And what was your other question? It was about the how I get started. Have you always been ambitious, and have you always had a goal to be on the U.S. team?
Yes, it has always been a goal, but I must say I did not entirely stay dressage from the beginning. I did some Western pleasure. I actually, as a child, always did dressage. Did some Western pleasure. That's how I bought and sold a horse when I was young in Louisiana. I did do some eventing. I did do some hunter jumper things. But my true love has always been in dressage. And I'm sure that's due to Sue Malone Casey, because that was what she did, and I thought some of her horses were beautiful. And they also were much larger. The horses that she had, she was a small woman, very petite, and her horses were the horses that I ride, now the size of my horses. So, and it was just, I thought it was breathtaking that someone that small could make something move so beautifully and so much power. So I thought that's what inspired me, really.
So making it onto the U.S. squad now for the World Equestrian Games must be, a dream and an ambition fulfilled in of itself. Has that sunk in, Todd? What does that mean to you right now?
I think I'm relieved. For me, it's always been a dream, but I do believe that there are so many good riders and good people that work hard, and they don't get the opportunity to go to represent the team. I think it takes talent, it takes ambition, it takes money, and I think really it takes a lot of luck, because I know many of my friends that are super riders and have had super horses and don't go to the team on the team. So I feel really relieved, and in all honesty, I really feel that Margaret Dupre has been so, and many others have been very good to me. Even though I worked hard, they have been extremely supportive over the years, since I was a child. And I feel like I have done something for them in that aspect. I feel that finally I've proven myself that I was worth all of the effort and the money that's been spent over the years and the time. So I feel relieved, in all honesty. I'm so much more, as an adult, more relaxed about the whole idea, and I tell people the same thing I just told you. It is not just it's not just talent, it's not just money, it's all of the above, and there's a lot of luck. So you really do have to just enjoy the journey. And even though I preach it, I don't always. You can let yourself get down, if you don't really believe it. And I must say, what kept me calm through these last couple of months is telling myself that if it happens, it happens. If not, I'll do my best. And I honestly wanted Margaret to be happy, that she's pleased in what I'm doing, make it worth her while.
Well, of course, your partnership with Otto, the 14-year-old Danish warm blood, is relatively new, and you came about this ride from, of course, one of my co-hosts on the show here, Heather Blitz. Tell us how that came about.
I was over horse shopping for a client, and one of my friends had a phone call and had talked to the Heather Blitz owned a half or something of that sort of Otto, and I was called and asked to see him. I said, "Oh no, I don't want to see Otto. Really, I'm looking for something younger." And then they said, "Well, would you like to see us?" "Oh, well, okay. Well, maybe so." And then I got there, and I didn't realize it was Heather. Actually, I didn't know that Heather was. I didn't know it was Heather Blitz. I was just told about the horses. I wasn't told what horses' names. So I get there, and I see Heather, and of course I like Heather a lot, so I know Heather. And Heather says, I said, I think this horse might be a little bit too much for my client as far as sensitivity in that. And Heather's the one that said to me, "Well, why don't you try it?" And then, try to buy him. And I said, "Oh, well, he's so much older. He's, it'll take me a while to get to know him, and then what would I do? If I didn't make the Olympics, I just a short period of time or something like the Olympics or the World Championships." Is that he's older, and she said, "Well, you can do it." And I came home and I thought about it a little bit, and then I asked Margaret. I said, "What do you think?" Because my other Grand Prix horse had been injured and needed some time off, and she says, "Well, why don't we do it?" She says, "And it'll keep you in the Grand Prix arena, and let's take a chance." So she took a chance, for me. I was a little concerned because he was an older horse, and even though I know how talented he was, but any good horse that's that sensitive in that, it takes a while to bond. And I didn't know whether or not I had that in me to bond with him, because he's quite sensitive. And Heather's a super rider and trainer, and I had questions about that. So, and at the beginning, it was a little bit. I loved him always, but it took me a little while to get to know him. I everything I did was a little bit in his way. It was a little. We needed to get to know each other basically. We needed to form the same page. But I'm pleased now. I think that now we have definitely bonded. In the past, actually, I think we've bonded mostly since Europe this summer. I think preparing for Aachen was the best, and going to Aachen proved that with the electricity there, I find that Otto is not necessarily sensitive to. He's not a spooky horse at all. If he's okay with the rider, he's okay with everything. He's very confident in that way, and so.
And how did he feel riding in obviously two competitions, 2 weekends running? Obviously, that would help to bond you in a competition setting, especially after your trip to Europe. How does he feel now, and now that he's come through that, Todd?
I honestly thought coming to the trials, I didn't think he was all that exuberant himself. I personally thought he was a bit tired coming to the trials. I thought it was a little bit from coming from Germany and that. I felt that he was a little tired and less exuberant than he normally is. And then of course the heat when I came home and things like that. we were okay when I came. I felt comfortable, but I didn't think to myself, oh, he just feels fabulous. I thought he felt fabulous at Aachen. I made a few mistakes at Aachen, but I thought as far as his gaits and his overall appearance, I thought he was super for Aachen. I thought coming into the trials, I thought he was a little tired. Maybe I was tired. I don't know. Maybe I was tired or stressed. And then I think that he had Monday and Tuesday easy after the first day, and I think he started to feel a little bit better. But I actually think on Sunday was more himself. And, you know, he'd gotten a little bit cooler on the weekend. And I actually thought on Sunday was his most, he felt more exuberant like he normally does. He was fresh. He warmed up a little bit, you know, a little bit playing, shaking his head, things like that. And I like that. But I do think he came home from the trials and he slept a little bit. And I think actually yesterday was the first day I saw him be his playful self again. I think it's been all this traveling has been and stress, you know. And I'm sure he's a very sensitive horse. He reads everything that I go through. I think he knows if I have tension, he has tension. So you have to be really. I love that part about him. He's extremely intelligent.
Well, had a little bit of downtime after the trials and now just a few short weeks to go to the games. So what's your schedule from here leading up to, of course, you return to Gladstone very shortly. What's your schedule look like? And how does this fit in with the rest of your life, Todd?
Yes, I will. He starts back work tomorrow, actually, light work. He's been having a few days off and a little lunging on this week. And tomorrow I get back on him on Saturday. And I will bring building back up. And the following weekend, Huberta Schmidt is coming over to help me for a few days. And then I will, on the 2nd of September, going up to Gladstone and to be with the team. We were required to be there together on September 4th, but I'll go up a little bit earlier and settle in. And I need to also work on my freestyle, so I was going to have my choreographer come up and we would go over it while we're there. And then we leave, of course, as a team on the 18th to go to the WAG. And I will obviously be living up there from September till 18th, and then come back from the WAG. I think we can come around the 2nd of October. I do have to go back and forth a little bit if I'm allowed to, if it's possible, to come and teach at the farm in West Grove, Pennsylvania. But other than that, I'll be up there, and hopefully I'd like to take off a few pounds. So I'm going to be doing some running and exercises so I can be as fit form as Otto is. So,
oh, good for you. So a bit of cross-training involved.
That's right. That's right.
Well, good for you, Todd. Well, we want to wish you the very best of luck on the rest of your journey to the World Equestrian Games. We hope that you'll join us when you get to the horse park. We will be recording, of course, from the park there every day, live on stage. And we will hopefully we'll have several of our riders come join us. And I hope you'll be one of them, Todd. You'll find time to come back on the show.
I would love to do that. I could use the practice. I don't do this very often.
There you go.
So that would be great.
We'll make you a regular, Todd. Well, thank you so much indeed for your time, and the very best of luck to you and Otto on your journey to WEG.
Thank you very much.
Well, our thanks again to Todd, and we wish them all well. Next week we're going to have Catherine Bateson-Chandler on the show. She's going to join us as the third member of the team, as part of that squad that's heading down to Kentucky. And it's going to be a very short few weeks, isn't it, Mary? I mean, we're now coming into September in just a moment, and on the 23rd, 24th, 25th, I should say, 25th of September, it actually starts. It starts for me 2 days before, which is why I've got the 23rd on my mind.
Oh, I see.
But it's going to be a terrific competition. You know, when you think of the horses that are going to be there, Mary, it's the best in the world, of course. But now I think with world records being broken, just out of, you know, we've come to expect world records to be broken, aren't we?
It's so true, and it'll be really interesting to see how it all plays out.
It certainly will be. Well, I know you've got, talking about playing, your tip of the week, I believe, is about playing out of the sandbox. What's on your mind, Mary?
So my tip of the week is about taking your horse out of the sandbox, and I really feel that us dressage riders tend to become stuck in working inside of the arena, be it the indoor or outdoor school. And I think it's really important to branch out and take your horse out on the trails. It has been proven that riding horses on different turf aids in building stronger muscles and tendons and also a healthier mind. By riding your horse through varying footing, and it strengthens your horse's legs and also keeps them mentally stimulated in a different way than when working on the same footing in the dressage arena. I know that those of us here at Cadence Farm take the horses out on the trails a couple times a week, be it before or after work in the arena, and our horses really enjoy it. We're really fortunate to have trails right outside of our arena, though this is not always necessary if you want to take your horses out. I think the best way to get out there, if you don't have trails right around the corner, is to network with fellow equestrians in your barn or area and plan a day to trailer over to a horse-friendly place where you can spend the day having fun with your horses. I strongly believe that trail riding the dressage horse, and all horses really for that matter, helps their mind, body, and soul. Not only is trail riding beneficial to the horse's physical being and mind, but it can also be a really relaxing and fine bonding experience spent with your horse. So get out there and have fun in the great outdoors.
I quite agree. You know, we spend far too much time in the arena, I think, generally.
Yeah.
I think it's so good psychologically and for the horse. And for ourselves, you know, and also for your riding skills, you know?
Yeah, totally. It really lets your horse let go and have a good time out there. And the same goes for the rider. Like you said, too many of us are just a little too stuck on the arena work. And you can even work on your dressage exercises out in the field. I mean, I do that all the time, and it's a lot of fun. And you usually have a different horse to ride, which is good for preparing for competition as well when you have a different horse on the showgrounds.
That's very true. Very good. What a great tip. Well, thank you, Mary.
Well, thank you.
Well, I want to remind you all, when I mentioned the World Equestrian Games coming up here very shortly, the dressage competition starts on the 27th of September, and that goes 27th, 28th, 29th, and the 1st of October that the competition actually takes place. And the Dressage radio show will be recording to a live audience on each of those days, except on the first, of course, that is the freestyle that takes place in the evening, so it would be too late to record the show after that, so I will be doing it early the next morning. But we will have 4 shows here on the Dressage Radio Show covering the World Equestrian Games competition, so tune in for that. And if you happen to be coming in to Kentucky for the World Equestrian Games, come by and visit us at the Alltech Pavilion. We will be there on stage to a live audience every day, so we would love to meet you. Come say hi. Well, Mary, that about wraps it up. I know you don't have any plans to come down, so hopefully you'll be tuned into the show.
Oh, I certainly will be. I can't wait. It'll be fun to pretend that I'm there by listening to all the radio shows and keeping up with what's going on.
Wonderful. Well, thanks again, Mary, for joining us on the show this week. What have you got lined up now in the coming weeks and months?
Well, for the next couple of weeks, I'm just going to be tuning up my training again. I gave Rozzy a big break after Young Rider so that he could rebuild all that power and energy and also relax. He's been having a nice time off. So yeah, I'm going to start up with my training again, and then we have Dressage at Devon at the first week of October. So that's really the biggest thing on our agenda. And I'm also going to be hosting a schooling show here at our farm.
Oh, wonderful. Now, do you get a vacation during the summer at all?
Not so much. This is the first summer that really hasn't been a summer vacation. I've been working a lot, but enjoying every moment of it.
So maybe you'll save up that time then for the fall and have a break after the end of the season. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, do you head down to Florida every winter?
Well, last winter was my first time, but I'm very excited to say that I am planning on going back again this winter.
Terrific. Well, that sounds like a very good idea, but something to look forward to.
Yes, definitely. Can't wait to get away from the cold.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope you'll come back and visit us here on the Dressage Radio Show when you have time.
Of course.
Wonderful. Well, thanks again for joining us. And I want to remind everybody that you can join us online anytime, any day and night at dressageradio.com. The show is always available. You can also visit us on Facebook as ever, and you can follow us on Twitter, Horse Radio, and Chris E. Stafford. Don't forget to send your emails to me, chris@horseradionetwork.com, and leave me a voicemail, 270-803-0025. I'd like to thank our sponsors again, Equestrian Collections and Kentucky Performance Products, for making this show possible, and to our backstage crew who turn these shows out for you every week without fail. And don't forget to check out all the other shows that we have here on the Horse Radio Network. We have now 8 shows, so there is something for everybody. Well, that about wraps it up, Mary, but I will be back same time, same place next week. So until then...
Thanks to everyone around the world for listening, and don't forget to practice safe riding by always wearing your helmet and fastening your chin strap.